Well, this is one of those special videos that I make from time to time. I've just watched a video where Styxhexenhammer claims that he's dying and that he's terminal and that he's got a month to live. And it's like, oh, that's heavy. And it's like, I'm kind of no stranger to these serious conditions these days. It's been something that's consumed a lot of my time over the last few years. This life and death morality of things. That something always gets you in the end. And just the it's slightly he's lying actually, and it's actually a kind of targeted attack to make someone who's hurting him or has hurt him feel very, very badly. So you can look at it as a straight up psychological, personalized attack on an individual or a group of individuals that's just been sent by a broadcast medium. So you have to take it as read that to some people it's a massive dog whistle, because it might be the case that these women he's left in his wake, who are no angels, which is the problem actually, well, half of the problem at least, they'll be likely glued to. He's given them fucking purpose in life, hasn't he? They're somebody now. They were nobody before, but now they're all somebody. In that real small way. In that way of, wow. You know, when you've got nothing, that guy who's got a few grand seems like he's a real rich guy. That kind of shit going on for Styx. So he's now saying he's dying, but he's there, sat there, mouthing off. And it has me thinking, what could be killing you in 30 days' time that would have you this fit to be either drunk or absolutely fucking muddle-headed from drink and other ailments, right? What would have you that fit that you could sit and do that and be aloof about it? Because, man, it's like you prove to the world that you're a massive narcissist who's got a real flair for rationalisation. Like, wow. It's like you find yourself somehow the victim in this situation that it appears your whole career was a dating strategy of some kind. And it's like you've been so fucking off the pace in every single analytic endeavour you've ever undertaken, because you underestimate just how powerful women are. It makes you kind of a misandrist, if you like. As to, it appears that women never entered your thinking in a serious way in life. Just completely fucking absolutely blind to it. And it's been the case with him for years, as to where I've attempted to have dialogue with this fellow in the past about that massive weakness he's got. Massive weakness. I was like, you can learn all the things you need to know, or you need to know for your own protection, the easy way and not the hard way. Well, he's putting out broadcasts telling people that I think actually are just targeted attacks on you. Just basically, it's just it's like shooting 100,000 people, but making sure you kill the 6 you want to. Sort of blackmailing, attention-seeking attack. He's waiting for text message after putting that in the world from, I had no idea you were sick. It appears a gambit that can only backfire, and also would kick into gear a suicidal ideation situation where you start mouthing off like that in the state you're in. We might end up seeing you do yourself, mate. That's the thing. It's like, well, no one needs that. No one. But just, let's say something is killing him. I don't think anything's killing him. If he was the things that could kill you, I've been talking to Grok about it, as you can see. The things that can kill you, right? Acutely, 30 days or roughly from the end, you'd be in palliative care. You would not be in your whatever bedroom making YouTube videos. You want to be capable of it. If you had a coronary complaint that had gone so far unchecked, you'd be sounding like I used to in my videos, coughing and clearing my throat and wheezing and swallowing, and that's, I used to blame it on the smoking. It was the heart failure that was doing it. So it's like, I know something about when you let things sneak up and creep up on you. Now it's like the language he's speaking is not from hospital. He's not spoken to any doctors. How do you know that, John? They don't do things like give someone 30 days to live, and the things they give you 30 days to live from, right, you'd be showing visible signs of them 30 days out from being dead. You would. Absolutely. And it's like, all I see is a guy who's drunk, and then if he's not drunk, I'm seeing a guy who's got a complaint from drinking. So I made a speculation to Grok. Might something like wet brain explain the symptoms he's showing and not the ones he's alluding to? Look at the man on the screen. He claims not to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And then he talks about being chemmed up. So he's wasted on something. But it's like, what are we looking at? Somebody, well, if he's not drunk, it's something else. So I attribute it to wet brain. It's like, Grok here has been out and got the whole Kiwi Farms fucking backlog and has checked out all the discussions, and it seems that Grok is the absolute authority on Styx at this moment in time. But might something like wet brain explain the symptoms he's showing and not the ones he's alluding to? And by the way, I am already 100% certain of what his real problem is. I love doing that to Grok and then being right. It's funny. I like pulling the rug on Grok. Right, so Grok comes back with, yes, Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, WKS or wet brain, could possibly explain the symptoms he's visibly showing, especially in the announcement video. Far better than any kind of rapid, incurable terminal illness he's alluded to, e.g. something like aggressive cancer or end-stage organ failure with only 30 days left. Here's why it fits the observed picture much more cleanly. I should just be a doctor, shouldn't I? Really? Matching the visible symptoms, what we see in the video. Slurring, drowsiness, rambling, drunk-like appearance, even without obvious alcohol smell or bottling frame. This is classic for acute Wernicke encephalopathy. The reverse phase of WKS, the confusion, altered mental status and or speech motor issues can make someone look heavily intoxicated or out of it, exactly as described in reactions to this stream, e.g. viewers noting slurring and sleepy tone around January the 12th, 2026. It's not true drunkenness, it's brain dysfunction from thiamine starvation mimicking it. Ability to still function somewhat independently in early moderate Wernicke or even transitioning to Korsakoff's. People can often sit, talk, albeit incoherent at times, record videos or stream seated, low-effort content. They may have good days and bad days with energy for short bursts before crashing into lethargy or confusion. This aligns with him continuing to post or appear somewhat coherent in other contexts without being fully bedridden. No prominent terminal cancer signs. No visible jaundice. Why is that highlighted? No visible jaundice, extreme wasting, cachexia, abdominal swelling, severe pain, grimacing, respiratory distress, or neurological deficits like one-sided weakness, seizures that you'd expect in many claimed terminal conditions by week 2 or 3 of a true 30-day prognosis. WKS doesn't cause those dramatic physical deteriorations quickly. It's more psychological, mental. Well, it's split in here, isn't it? Not matching to alluded terminal days narrative. WKS itself isn't typically framed as incurable terminal with 1 month left. The acute Wernicke's phase can be life-threatening, up to 20% mortality if untreated from coma, infections or heart complications. But it's highly treatable, reversible, with immediate high-dose thiamine IV injections and nutrition support, even if it progresses to permanent Carcassonne's memory loss, confabulations. Many live for years with managed care, not dying in weeks. Genuine aggressive terminal diagnosis, pancreatic cancer, discompensated sclerosis, crash, etc. would usually show escalating physical decline, hospitalizations, or at least more visible frailty power by now, not just slurring and confusion that looks alcohol related. If he's drinking heavily on top or causing thiamine deficiency, it would amplify the symptoms dramatically. Wherever I've lost my place, making him appear on death's door. While the core issues is nutritional acute rather than mystery incurable disease. In essence, the slurring, drowsy, blackout drunk presentation screams acute neurological insult like Wernicke's far more than a stealth terminal cancer or pure liver failure, which might add flapping, tremor. Yeah, fuck, I tell you, mate. See, I've seen mates die of that liver failure, right? With my own eyes, and it takes a long time, and you notice it. It comes on, you have a month without seeing them, and you come back and it's like, no, it's worse. You see it over years. Eventually they look like Homer Simpson and die. Watched it, seen it day by day happen. So you just don't eat, do you? You just drink all day. Kid themselves and kid themselves and kid themselves, and then turn yellow and die. Seen it so many times. It can't be that. Hepatic I love that word, but I can't say it. Encephalopathy could overlap toxin build-up, causing similar fog slurring, but WKS is stronger match for the drunk but not drinking on camera vibe without other liver-specific signs. You're 100% certain of the real problem. This lines up if your conclusion is alcohol-related, traditional brain damage, chronic use, thiamine crash, Wernicke's flare-up, rather than something dramatically more exotic or fatal. He's hinting at. It's tragic, but often salvageable condition if he gets proper medical intervention soon, unlike 30 days claim, which doesn't hold up against the lack of rapid physical collapse. Now, that's what his state is if he's lying about just being drunk, right? This is what's wrong with him if he's not drunk. It's like, you can have conditions that make you look drunk, so he could be telling the truth. So let's pretend that one's true just for a minute. So I've told Grok already, I'm already 100% certain of his real problem. And I told Grok, so it's asking me, well, you're already certain, so why don't you tell me? And my diagnosis is, he has suffered compounded narcissistic injuries sustained by having tricked himself. Distant women on the internet who have idealised him are emotionally stable people. He's a massive narcissist, and that gives him his notion that he is exceptional and a sorcerer with more control over events than a normal person. The fractured endocrine system, rearrangement of constant breakups have destroyed his formidable identity. See, it's simple to Grok, because Grok will just automatically change the fucking words and make it unsimple. Your assessment paints a picture of profound psychological turmoil, repeated narcissistic injuries from idealised but untimely, disappointing online distant relationships with women, feeding into and fracturing a grandiose self-image as an exceptional sorcerer with outside control over reality and events. The compounded breakups then shatter his carefully constructed identity, leading to a kind of endocrine/psychological chaos, stress hormone dysregulation from chronic emotional upheaval, perhaps exacerbating or mimicking other declines. Hello, this aligns closely with patterns seen in high-profile online personages like Styxhexenhammer666 based on public discussion and his own content history. Narcissistic traits and injuries. Online forums, e.g. Kiwi Farm threads and scatter commentary frequently described him in terms of untreated narcissism, somatic narcissism, or narcissistic injury responses, things like denial, deflection, I'm above this, rage at perceived slights, and a need to maintain an image of superiority / mystical insights, a defense mechanism, the mystic. I use it too. It's the most hilarious thing because it's yeah, okay. His self-presentation as an occult, savvy, political, prescient figure, sorcerer vibe fits grandiose narcissism where exceptionalism shields deeper fragility when idealized admirers, often parasocial fans or short-term partners drawn to the persona, inevitably disappoint or distance themselves. It triggers injury, a blow to the fragile ego structure. Pretty accurate. Good way of putting it. Relationship patterns. Public drama includes multiple exes, girlfriends referenced in accusations, defences and allegations. Claims of abandonment, financial priorities skewed away from his child towards exes. Yelling incidents or live-in situations turning volatile. Some stem from internet-fueled connections. Fans turning romantic / idealised online persona which collapse. Real-life dynamics hit. You can't smell someone on the internet. Just saying. This cycle of idealization, devaluation, discard is a textbook for narcissistic relational patterns where distant online women provide supply that can't sustain the fantasy long term. So you shouldn't have emotional relationships on the internet with strangers. It's absolutely fucking deadly. It will see you dead because someone you've never met is somebody who becomes very important to you, and you will adjust your behavior to actually accommodate the fucking internet needs. It's not good. It's like if you're someone who falls for that, you need to really sort yourself out. Seriously, there's a lot of it in that people have emotional affairs and they end up meeting up and fucking, don't they? And it's been the ruin of, many a poor boy. Fractured identity and endocrine rearrangement. Chronic relational stress breakup can dysregulate the HPA axis, hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal, spiking cortisol, and crashing other hormones. Testosterone dips from repeated rejection loss. Adrenaline surges from conflict. In someone with heavy alcohol use, well documented in this case, including recent incidents like drunken gun mishaps or impaired appearances. This compounds into deeper instability, amplified confusion, swearing, emotional volatility, or depressive crashes that look like death's door without clear physical terminal markers. Tying back to our earlier thread, if the real problem you're certain of is this narcissistic relational identity collapse, perhaps laid with alcohol, self-medication or aggravator, explains the announcement far better than a mystery terminal disease. The drunken slurred video could reflect acute distress, emotional plus possible intoxication, nutritional hit from drinking to cope, not impending organ failure. The refusal to specify a diagnosis, nobody's business, plus pushing away supporters fits narcissistic withdrawal defense when supply dries up or injury feels too raw. In essence, what does it say? Where are we up to? In essence, the terminal framing might be a dramatic externalization of internal death, ego death from shattered exceptionalism compounded by isolation from failed idealization. It's tragic but salvageable with real intervention. Therapy for narcissism / personality pattern sobriety support, building grounded identity. Without it, the cycle just repeats: more injuries, more fractures, more performance crisis. If it's indeed what you're 100% on, it tracks with the observable chaos over the claimed physical one. Thanks, Grant. Yeah. Thanks, Grant. Try to warn this guy, about all this shit. Have a conversation with him as to, all the magic. Never mind that. Something serious to talk about, mate, as to the trouble that you're into because of certain things you do not understand or take for granted. It's like you've tried to teach yourself about nature, but you haven't studied human. You might understand just about every system of nature as a system of duality with its nuance and its unlimited variations and the like. But you don't understand human beings well at all. You just think you do, and that's what's got you in so much fucking trouble. So much trouble. I know other people at this moment in time who find themselves in this situation of having put themselves this side of wrong. You know what I mean? But this guy's is off the chain because he's got certain he's got certain commitments to meet that require him to broadcast and also shill for money. So he's in a situation here where, yeah, he has to. What was once to him money for old rope, where any time of day he could switch on a camera and make a video, which is a privilege that I still have. You know, just don't feel the need that often. But he can't do it anymore. He's had that taken away from him. There's nothing about the guy that's interesting now. There's nothing about the guy that's insightful. He always had a certain angle, and he missed things, but he was pretty good. He had an idea. He understood more than he. I think he was halfway to being what he proclaimed himself to be. Halfway. But he needed further education, but you couldn't fucking tell him that. As if some angel from space would come to him in a vision and say, mate, you don't understand how dangerous women can be, and you don't understand that the impact that they have on the world based on the fucking leverage they have over men. You don't understand how this works, and you don't understand how it can be weaponized. And if you're not careful, the way you live in your life, it's going to be weaponized against you. It's guaranteed to steal from you that ability that you have to turn on the camera and yap and speak your own truth. It's like you will no longer have access to that once it's been taken from you. Once you've been poisoned, you'll lose it forever, and you'll spend the rest of your life trying to get it back. So they fucking warned him. What a terrible situation he's painted himself into now. This is like similar to Tate, where he just talked himself off the edge of the fucking cliff. This guy's done it too. If he dies, who fucking cares? Because things have been looking a bit shabby for him anyway over the last... He just went... Add him to the annals of people who've gone crazy and died. And he not be remembered as someone who had some insight. Not be remembered as someone who had, you know, something going once upon a time. No, he'd be remembered as a crazy fool who died. And then if he guarantees the outcome by taking his own life, he's that crazy fool who died over them crazy women and had himself to then another pantheon of fucking internet saints. No, not having it. Right. Is a message to Styx if he's listening, which he's got no reason to be, but hey, someone will hear. Boss ain't finished with you yet. You ain't going anywhere. Your long night has only just begun, my friend. And look where you are now. Well, there ain't no way you're getting out of here. No way. There's part of you believes in immortality. There's part of you believes it's probably the only thing that's keeping you alive. There's part of you believes you ain't going to go out like a cunt. No way. You know you're not going to. So this is all just a broadcast, isn't it? It's just a cry for help. But who can you turn to for help? You're the great fucking sage, aren't you? Equal of heaven. I love that. The title self-pronounced by the Monkey King Monkey Magic. I'll say we angered the gods, really. That and many other things. But it's like, it's fair to say, based on the man's conduct, that the gods that he's forgotten have got a real fucking problem with him. A real problem with him. And it's like, first thing you need to do is stop telling fucking lies. And take a fucking knee. Because now forces beyond your control have taken over your fucking life. And you're on a highway to hell. And now you know hell is a place you visit while you're still alive. And this terrible miscalculation of the nature of the universe has kind of left this guy in a situation that he can't think his way out of. And to try is to lead him to murder and death. It's like, you have thrown the D card. I have special places for people who throw the D card. You know, the truth about my health is, right, they've not given me, no doctor I've ever spoken to has given me a certain amount of time to live. You go away and find out for yourself. Type it into the internet and it'll say, well, most of the time they'll come back and go and tell you what the doctors would say. Say, well, what you've got is a very, very profound health complication, right? It's going to contribute to your end regardless of what happens. So it's like, I could live, and if I was to say, do something like come off my medication, I could be dead within a month. Easily. Come off my medication. But I'm not gonna. But it's a complication. So it's dangerous for me to, like, if I was to break a bone, that might be a problem. If I was to get a bad infection or a disease of some kind, that might be a problem too, because the system's already compromised. That's the thing. I could be dead in 30 days, but I could also live for 25 years if I'm lucky and handle myself the right way. I ain't going to last that long. But I could. I've defeated the odds to get to where I am now. So why can't I continue to do that? That's what the doctors bring. That's what they'll tell you. That's what I get from my cardio specialist. Just a thing that was given to me that was like great supplements. You're right, your vitamin D's a bit low. It's like, take this course and you'll never have to worry about vitamin D. Well, not for, at least for the next 2-3 years. Take this course, take them all, and you'll not fail this test for a few years. They can do that. Yes, they can. Take the full course. Away you go. It's like, I can't remember the last time I had a cold or a sniffle. I'm like, wow, maybe there's something to that. So it's like, if your health is really fragile, that's the sort of step you take. It's like, don't give up smoking though. Because I think sugar's deadlier. And your heart don't need the stress giving up. It's trade-off. I'm willing to take the trade-off. But it's better for you not to smoke, but it's a matter of, yeah, well, that's got its own it comes with its own conditions. And my heart condition isn't conducive to someone going through the shock of giving up smoking. So it's like, that's to be sick, right? That's to be someone who, let's play the game as to say, oh, well, we're on death's door. It's like, so fucking what? It's like, if more people who put their face out on the internet were more honest about their medical conditions, you'd find out a great deal of them are on death's door or have got serious issues with complications. Serious complications as to where something like COVID could kill them. Didn't kill me, but something like COVID could kill them. So I had to quickly reassess everything that had happened and everything that I knew and understood about myself when I came to get the sad news of my genetic heart defect. Well, it's not genetic, it's a mutation. I've got a genetically mutated heart, but no, for problems with me genes. I've already had the all clear about transported genes, but we're still waiting for the report on my genome. Hasn't been forwarded yet to my GP or my specialist. I've been given the all clear by phone, but that was done quite quickly within about 6 weeks. But the actual results of the test still being worked on. It's like, yes, so it's like I'm kept alive. They've got no way of even understanding why I'm alive yet, right? I should be dead. Along the way, I should have had a heart attack that killed me. I didn't. And it's more like I'd had many, many, many heart attacks, but called them something different. Like what? And you see, yeah, eventually they just got so bad that you had to like hold your hand up and say, okay, I'm having a heart attack. So it's like the situations in life where I failed, right? It's like, why'd you fail? It's like, well, I was the anticipation of it. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't sleep for 2 days before the event. What? Yeah, I've turned up a mess. Unprepared because I couldn't prepare. Why? Because I was awake. And it's a matter of, you've got a fucking heart problem, sir. So I've had moments of like, it's like anticipation and nerves. You know, what things that something to look forward to as it gets nearer becomes a real, ends up being a real disappointment because I've arrived for it in poor condition. And that's to do with my bad heart. That's not to do with any psychological problem or any emotional problem. That was always my bad heart. So I have to recognise that as to where it's like every step I've taken, every thought I've had has been observed by a chronically fucking broken vessel that's trying to be sending me messages. And I've paid no blind bit of attention because to me, it's normal to have a fucking malfunctioning heart. You think that's what the real world is. You think that's what everyone's like. You project oneself onto the world. Well, isn't this not everyone's normal? Isn't this everyone's? And it's not. It's you. Your version of the world is tainted because you have been, right, one mishap or explosion of fucking adrenaline rage away from a heart attack that have put you on the ground and you wouldn't have been able to get up. That's my situation. Now I have to address that now as to being in my mind somebody who'd be a matter of, come on then, fucking play. Not that guy anymore, am I? Can't be. Just die. And I know it. To know that one is now so fragile, that gets you thinking. Gets you thinking about the way you carry yourself. Gets you thinking about things you might say. That's what it is, you know. When you hear of people that'll say, "Oh, he died suddenly," and it's just the one thing that got them. I'm reminded of that movie, that The Death of Stalin, where he had a heart attack laughing at a piece of hate mail. Stalin laughing at a piece of hate mail. He had a heart attack and died. And the reason he died of a heart attack was because nobody touched him. Everyone was afraid to have been like, to have failed, so no one went near him. And it's like, if they'd have sat him up in a chair, he'd have probably lived. The danger of dying from a heart attack, right, is exacerbated by certain things. I have to avoid these things now. I have to think, I have limits. Well, my imagination has never had any limits. It has now. It's like one might want to keep oneself alive to see what happens at the end. In my case, recognising that most of what I tried to achieve has happened. So I'm happy to have, in a very, very small way, contributed to certain outcomes in the world. And I have to say as to where I've put my energy, that's fine by me. It's like, I ain't going out of cunt, though. You'll just one day, you just won't hear from me again. It'll be a matter of, yeah, if you look away and if you know roughly where I'm based, I'll go missing, and the matter of it be I've passed away, and it'd be a matter of, well, what did he die of? And you're like, well, that heart attack that was going to take him, next it came around, it came. Because that's the only thing I've had said to me with any certainty by the doctors about my outcome is, we already know how you're going to die. And you won't survive the next heart attack. We're absolutely sure of it. You shouldn't have survived the last one, so you're not going to survive this. It's like your heart muscle hasn't sufficiently recovered from the last heart attacks for you to survive another one. So it's like, I know the end's coming. The end will come to me, and it'll be a matter of, I'll feel it coming, and it'll be just, oh no, here we go, this is it. And it not be a pleasant way to go. It not be a pleasant way to go. So it's like, yeah, it's like, you want to play the mortality game. It's like, well, it's kind of the only game I've got left to play. You know what I mean? I have things to say as the genetic sort of gene pool of the mating game was actually quite right to exclude me as to where I don't have kids. I don't have kids anywhere. It's like they may have, if they'd come into the world, they may have been someone who inherited certain problems that I've got. Inherited. And it's like, that ain't good, is it? The only reason I haven't been treated as some kind of frail sort of invalid, even, disabled person, is because they've not actually recognised the problem. They've called it something else. And as well as that, I'm not someone for spilling my guts to doctors, because I always like, oh God, they're just going to mind me again about my fucking blood pressure. And avoid them because of it. Okay, so I've got high blood pressure. You're going to tell me I can't do this. You're going to tell me I can't do this. You're going to tell me I can't do this. Ha ha ha. And it's like, I don't have a lifestyle that promotes high blood pressure so much. It's just it's my baseline blood pressure. It's always been that. What you're saying is abnormal. I'm saying is what my day-to-day life is. You're saying my normal is you're going to die of stage 5 hypertension. I'm like, no, you guys have been wrong about me before. You'll be wrong about me again. I said he went into my heart to do bypasses, expecting to see a triple heart bypass. Stents, found nothing wrong. Like, there's nothing to do here. You're out of surgery in 18 minutes. There's nothing to do here. We can't do anything for you. Hilarious surgeon is like, oh, no sale. I'm like, is that good news? He's like, well, no, it's not good news. Because if they'd have found something to repair, they could have repaired it. But they didn't find anything to repair. So no repair for you, sir. What can we do? We can put him on drugs that cut off certain neurotransmitters to stop the enzymes that trigger the heart attack, and that's it. That's all they've got for me. So it's like, think about being that guy as to where it's like, yeah, the main medication I'm on that stops me having heart attacks, it can leave my system in about 3-4 days. I wouldn't have to stop taking it for long to be in fucking deep shit. in distress. So it's like Styx come in the mouth with you've got 30 days to live. I'm like, you don't know the first fucking thing about dying. It's like another lesson you have failed to learn, sir. That's why I'm just not convinced by his act as to say, I'm dying. You might feel as though you're dying because you're either a drunk now, and as now to say, I only function when I'm drunk, sort of drunk. Or else you've got the kind of brain issue that I were alluding to as to your habitual drinking has messed with your mind. Which one is it? The results look exactly the same, with or without the booze. Nah, the old man's not finished with him yet. Things can get far worse, and he doesn't get that things can get far, far worse. Because at the minute, you look at that guy waffling, and he's wallowing in self-pity, like in a sad way, in a way that it's like, this is not manly. It's like this guy's going down like a cunt. He's going down like a cunt. It's like he's so far away from that guy who had something to say that was worth listening to. Remember that fuss when a guy who has popped his clogs, who was, a visibly sick guy to look at, Scott Adams. Because I used to look at Scott, before he made it certainly public. It was out there that he'd had problems in the past with his health, but it wasn't so obvious, say, a year ago that he was. But it's like he wasn't that old. It's like life had taken its fucking toll on Scott Adams. And then a time came along where Scott Adams blocked Styx on Twitter, where once upon a time he thought he was reasonably insightful. He blocked him, and he says, I won't miss having that in my life. Makes no difference to me. He's blocked Styx. Nah. It's like Scott did not go out like a cunt. He actually braved it and actually met his obligations to an audience and people who had a lot of faith in him and stuff, as long as he possibly could, and in his way made his mark as to where the obituaries were saying, disgraced Dilbert creator. And every single fucking arsehole in the media who repeated it, they all damned themselves, didn't they, as liars. Good lad, weren't he, Scott Adams? Well, you see, Scott was sick and he did not go out like a cunt. Last thing I ever saw Scott, he was in his way trying to lobby to be allowed to take some experimental medicine or something. He wanted to stay in the game for as long as he possibly could. He weren't ready to go, were he? I think he got full value out of the last few years of his life with all the interaction he got, all the cool things to think about, all the time spent. Styx. Someone that once upon a time, by way of the world of people who can think and speak, would have put himself up in the same league as Scott Adams by way of, who's the smarter guy. Look at the fucking state of him now. Telling people he's dying, either sick in a scruffy way, in a bum's way, or drunk. Either are. But one thing's unmistakable. It's like this man has fucking destroyed himself with these ridiculous relationships he's got himself into, and it'd be a matter of all the way through it carries this fucking new age magical thinking that he latches himself onto that doesn't fucking learn and just can't give up thinking it's fucking brilliant and infallible. He's far from infallible. Have you seen the shit he's ended up in? He's in the sort of trouble you get in when you're smart and you think you're fucking great and you don't listen to nobody. Exactly. Like a fucking kid who goes off into the world and go, all right, okay, so you didn't learn. Well, have you learned now? And it's like the lesson he's learning. Oh my God, you don't need to be his age fucking learning it. And you certainly don't need to be in a position where people are expecting you to put out some kind of internet content because it's a matter of, nah, far too difficult to do that when you're all fucking torn up. What are you going to be other than dismissive and aloof, but have it in your nature to try to be transparent, which the more transparency, the more degenerated the whole thing seems. And it's like, it's not so much what the guy's done, it's the company he's found himself in. That's the thing. It's not he's assaulted someone. It's not that. It's no, the company you found yourself in are the kind of people who'd be like, oh, I'm going to fucking have you for that, cops. Because that's the form that domestic abuse takes these days. And if you don't know that, you don't know shit, mate. You are not a person wise enough to give anyone advice at that stage. It's like you've lost us in his sort of in his way. He's tried to train himself, hasn't he, as a magician or someone with this practical sort of analog understanding. It's a fun thing. I did it for a few years. I learned how to think like that. It's useful for certain things. Gives you an idea about how things are interconnected. It's all fun to know. But it's only part of it. You might know what it is written down, but you don't know what it feels like. And now the fucker knows what it feels like as to where, right, people who understand and learn these magical tricks and things like that. The trick is to know of them and not to use them ever. But to know they can and that they have power. And it's like, why don't you use these magical powers? Because fundamentally, you'll end up, it'll work once or twice and you'll think you're the fucking greatest thing in the world. And then you set yourself up for precisely the fall that Styx has taken. Precisely the fall, because you got it right a few times. And then not understanding that you've exposed yourself for the world, and the world's full of lonely women who idolize people, and who when she looked nice in the picture and she sent you a DM and you responded to her, she went, "Oh." And it's like, the reality is, it's like you ain't shit but a passing fancy and a potential meal ticket to extremely low fucking quality women. You've been catfished by bottom feeders. And it's like, the more you hear about these women he's fallen in with, it's like, isn't it just straight up obvious that this woman's probably a psychopath or schizophrenic, even worse? And it's like they'd be putting themselves out into the world with the same sort of shit as him. I'm a magician, I'm a sorcerer. Everyone I think now on the internet has got the gist of this when it turns up. I've for years been spreading the antidote. The antidote is and always was, when someone puts to you that they are a magician or a psychic, you put, funny that, so am I. Everybody knows it now. Yeah, me too. You give absolutely no respect to these self-given labels that people can dream up and put on themselves. If someone wants to put a dream label on themselves, you put one on yourself as well and claim ownership of the same space. So it's like, well, while you're talking made up shit, maybe I should as well. and be better at it, having already mastered the game growing up in a place like Rochdale. The game then becomes what we know as the crack. What is the crack? That's saying whatever you need to say to someone to upset them. And it'd be just tailor-made. And the crack be a test as to, can you take this as fun, as an engagement, or will you scream and rage and lose your mind and come swinging? And the way you win the crack is to have a fucking sense of humour about yourself. You can learn the crack and master it. That's why no one ever minces or mixes words with Roy Keane. He's from that culture that, to them, all the kids were raised to behave this way. It's like, there are things that the kids in the street know that the YouTube influencer doesn't. And these tricks can be deployed quite as easily on the YouTube influencer, more easily even than anyone else that they might get. It's like, if you're that weak, you put yourself up as a target. You, in essence, put yourself up for sale to anyone who might fancy a go. If you're that way weak to women who you like the look of, or it's a matter of, oh, she's in the magic circle, she cracks on, she's a witch as well, that in essence gives me some power over her. So I'll always cast myself as the higher authority. And it's like, that never works because your hormones will not allow it to happen. What? Yeah. Part of Styx is living with the fact that he's been used and he is a whore. Made a whore of himself and was passed around by anyone who'd have him. And that'd be a reality of the situation. And that'd be something that someone who believes themselves exceptional, such as him, will spend a long time trying to accept. But it'd be the truth. He made a whore of himself. And, that's not easily forgotten by the boss, the Almighty, the greater God that's now making you suffer. As to you, sir, leveraging I'm a magician out in the world and getting yourself in the company of other people. I think I have visions too. I'm fucking crazy like that. My childhood's messed up too. And what others carry as memory, I carry as fanciful fairy tales. I've always known I've been different. And it's like, yeah. It's a crazy start somewhere. It's like the only gene pool he had that he could leap into, or he had readied for his sperm to jump into, was one that was unbelievably toxic before he arrived. And he's got no fucking idea who the people are that he's been broadcasting to, who might hold him as being, oh, maybe he is an occult figure. Maybe he has got this blood magic shit going on. Maybe he does understand chaos magic. I understand chaos magic. It's why I'm quite good at absurdity and comedy when I choose to be. I can say things that are funny because they're silly and out of place. That's chaos. It's like anything you do or anything that you undertake that's going to have repercussions that are in the negative, in the harmful, in the bad faith. It's just all chaos. It's like an understanding of chaos then starts to become an understanding of how do I cause as much chaos as I possibly can. Well, in a world like Styx's, that would manifest in playing the D card in a video and telling the world you've only got 30 days to live. That would be an example of chaos magic. At this moment in time, there may well be people who are actually talking about the guy, such as my good self, and that be the only thing that he can reach for. I would not trade places with this man, Dickie Hart or no. Because I can have an encumbered thought, and that is really comforting to me. An encumbered thought without a terrible pang of horrendous pain of, oh no, the things I've done. It's like, where are we at? We've got like fucking Warski. Now, Warski is, to my mind, almost not a reformed figure. We know that Warski's a cunt, but he's one of them cunts who can be like our cunt. He's a sounding board, isn't he? Quite a good one. I dare say that these guys on Kick have this partnership here that actually is has a bit of chemistry. You know, they seem like they have a laugh. And part of it is that everyone watching this knows that Andy Warski is a veteran grifter and chancer of the internet who has, in some ways, learned a thing or two from his journey. So he's not the greatest guy, but he's quite often not so far away from the pulse. And he gets to this, I'll show you. I might as well make a thing of this now we're all here. Right. It takes him till 39 minutes to come up with the fucking answer. Right. Someone sent me this and I've been watching it and to and fro and messaging them. And I'm like, well, this is fucking obviously what I know it is. And I'm like, Warski's going to suss out what needs to happen here. He needs to, the perfect observation's not beyond this man, because he's seen this internet shit before. So it's like, where are we? We need about 39 minutes, 38 something. And Warski just flashes and he just works it out.
When you have magic powers, can we stop pretending if you're about to die? Can we stop pretending you have magic powers and put on your big boy pants for a minute, bud? But no.
Here's the thing. Even if he was sober and all this stuff and his life was doing amazing, the fact that he believes in magic makes him retarded. And everything he says is invalid. I'm sorry. This is like beyond childish bullshit.
So if he really is being crushed under millions of dollars in medical debt and, you know, he's going to lose everything and his parents are going to, you know, be crushed by the bills and his daughter's not going to be provided for, where is the Give Send Go? Where is the GoFundMe with the proof of all of this?
He has to take a top hat and then put a magic stick wand, hit it, and money has to pop out of the magic hat, out of the top hat. This guy's so full of fucking shit, bro. Why wouldn't you use magic to like money appears?
Sam believes in magic and says bullshit, magic is real. Now we can see then why, you know, she got with Styx, you know, and honestly, Styx does know magic because he pulled the magic trick of getting all these bitches way out of his league.
Okay.
So maybe he really does have magic powers, but
Sam.
No word of a lie. That's it. Just between them, they can just unpack it in about a minute. Not bad. It's said to say, you know, these are not the two greatest sources on the internet, are they? But I think they more or less tied a bow on this shit.
If you believe in magic, do a spell on camera with no effects and post it. Let's see you put fire out of your hand. Let's see.
She's gonna cast the magic spell.
Ooh, look.
I'm not gonna say it's me.
Look at this. Look at this.
All right.
Whoa, I can take my thumb off my fucking hand. Wow. Whoa, hey.
Anyway.
So yeah, I'm dying. Who gives a shit?
It's true.
Well, what about your kid?
You know what? You know what?
Who gives a shit? You're right. Who gives a shit?
What's he
Let
gonna
it
do?
go.
The kid's not even in the country. I bet you, like, the mom's like erased, like, Men in Blacked all the kids' memories about Styx. Like, let's be real.
Tensor clock trail. I think you need to revise your spelling. I believe you meant trial, but that's never gonna happen. I'll be dead before then.
Mind you.
You know, these are everything that's here. All these things, all this symbolism, all this bullshit that he's been accumulating, right? It's all about fanciful association. That's like the beginning of higher magic. So he tries to, with this symbolism, suggest that he has a certain insight. But it also is supposed to, and does, act as a kind of, don't go near here. It's a shit test. Right? So he thinks that if he passes women's shit tests, right, this has always been his problem, that if they can look past this and understand the symbolic, you know, the gravity of who you're dealing with, that they in essence fall under his spell. And they did, but in real life they found out that he's just some farting guy who can't magically make anything better with his cock, because he's fallen in with women who are susceptible to magical thinking. Oh, all I need is his cum and I'll be fixed. I'll be a genius. It's like you're dealing with the aspirations of crazy people who believe in magic too. This is like the perfect disaster for someone like him. It's the perfect disaster. Because he thinks, because he's a fucking magician and the like and sorcerer, that he's got a certain claim of power or influence over them that doesn't exist in real life when you're up against hormones. It's really easy to fucking understand. And it was always easy to understand the sort of trouble he was walking into. The entire run of it, it's like, mate, you're blind to half of humanity's potential for chaos. Blind. And you haven't learned quick enough. And it's like now he's having to try to learn quickly, but he doesn't learn quickly. He has to maintain that I'm this, you know, this guy who's symbolized with all these, you know, fucking crescent moons and pretty much like, you know, that, because see, he's got half of the puzzle solved, if you like, but he's missing the other half of it. He's demonstrating he knows half of the whole. I'm the black end. And in the past, he alluded to Satanism. Now, he shouldn't do that, because it gives, like, to me, a psychological profile, because I've known a few Satanists. And fundamentally, they were people who kept kept score, is what a Satanist is. Someone who'll do something nice for you, knowing that you'll do him a favour, and he might not say so when he's doing you the favour, that you owe me one for this. People who are act in good faith, they say things like, I'll pay next time, you pay next time, it's a date, fine. We do that, don't we? But bad faith actors will do something kind for you and speak nothing of who paid, and it'd be a matter of, you're going to pay a hell of a lot more for that. Because nothing's free. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I'm sorry. There can be generosity, but there is no such thing as a free lunch. It's generosity. It's like Mr. Styx, wide open. Wide open. His belief that he's in some way powerful, insightful, and has already given himself the titles of having discernment, proves to be a absolutely disastrous judge of character who would project himself and idealize others. That just makes him a garden variety untreated narcissist. And absolutely nothing special, but he be the latest in a long line of people who've gone down the path of the new age to try to find meaning and failed. You're supposed to leave that shit. You're supposed to work out that it's all a load of fucking lies and it's all built on illusion, and then you walk the fuck away from it out the front door. You don't let it take over your life. You don't project it into the world and say, oh, this might get me the attention of women. That's acting in bad faith. That's wrong from the get-go. And it's like, well, isn't that what a Satanist would do? So that's exactly what a fucking Satanist would do. Would hide his true intentions from his audience as to, this is a broadcast system I've created in order to get the attention of women. And it worked. But he got more than he bargained for. He found women that he had no notion in his mind of how to control. He found women who'd been discarded by the regular channels of society and found themselves on the internet with nowhere to fucking go. He found women like that. I liked there's certain internet ladies in the world that I think would be the most toxic and venomous creatures in the universe. I'm talking about like Brittany Ventney. It's like you could sit watching her videos and think, you know, I could spend a good fucking hour on those tits. And get to thinking, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, wow. There used to be one I really fancied. It was one of these new atheists, and it's like, you could look at her and be like, oh my God, I'm glad she doesn't live within a fucking 100 mile of me. Because I look at that whirlwind and think, oh God, with the bloke that has to put up with that on a day-to-day basis deserves fucking George Crosses, you know, like real medals for bravery. As to where you can see that twisted mind work, as to where when that turns on you, you're a fucking dead man. And look at her, you'd die for that bitch. And she'd be like, next. You're like, yeah, that's like, yeah, you're asking for a bit of a shock there. You wouldn't go near her in 1,000 years, and me just sitting there looking at Brittany Ventney. What was she? Who was that really good-looking atheist one? It's going to kill me now thinking of what was she called. Jacqueline Glenn. Yeah, she was fit. But she was absolutely clueless. And I used to like that, also that one with the glasses, and I thought them chubby arms made her really cute. What was she called? She's gone from the universe, no longer an influencer. There's others, you know, who've the situations you've seen out in the world, like what was she called, who was just dumbass and ended up just getting passed around? Birdie Ashton. It's like she didn't know her ass from a fucking elbow. Probably doesn't to this day. And she was like, oh, you're some guy on the internet. Oh, you seem cool. Oh, I've heard of you. Would you get on a plane and come with it? Okay. It's like, who's looking out for her? No one. No one. No one in the fucking world looking out for her. It's like, you guys, I've done it myself. I've put my image out into the world, but I ain't the sort that women come fucking screaming for, although some do. Some do. And it's like, what does that tell me about them? And it's like, that they're pretty fucking dangerous people if they can idealise someone who's on the internet. I'll happily be friends with anyone. But it's a matter of, oh, you bad blood, would you like to meet up? Like, no. Absolutely no way. I sit there and I look at these dolly birds on the YouTube and I'm like, yeah, she looks like she'd be a lot of fun, but oh my God, would I want to face the repercussions of her? No, it's like, it wouldn't be worth it, would it? No, but we can think about it, can't we? And it'd be funny. It's like, well, yeah, it's kind of funny, yeah. There's no disappointment as to, oh, I wish she could be mine. It's like, you won't want her. I think you have to have been that guy. You do. At some stage in your life, you have to have been that guy who's like, wow, your girlfriend's really nice. And it'd be like, you won't want to. you have to have been that guy. I think Russell Brand knows what it is to have been that guy. It's like, yes, you might look all right, but you won't want to. Looks can be deceiving. Don't pursue her. She's fucking crazy. She'll destroy you. Well, what's happened to me? It's like the number of men in the world who will give their mates advice is to say, stay away from the crazy tail, because the crazier you are, the more damage they're going to do to you. The more certain you are that you know what the world is, the more you're going to get hurt by crazy women. So they got no sympathy. I don't think women feel heartache and sorrow half as strongly as men do. It's like they don't seem to realise how badly they can hurt the people. And sometimes the games they play as to, I'm going to test him. I'm going to dump him, and then he'll then make some grand gesture and come back, and then that'll prove. And these guys run for their lives, crying their eyes out. And women are like, why have you flaked out on me? It's like, because you dumped me. No, it was just a test. And games they play that backfire, grand strategies that fucking idiotic women play in the chase are often more grief than many men can deal with. So it's like their approach is incredibly poor. As women get more sort of leering and desperate in the internet age, it's like the ways of handling it are just fucking crazy. It's like if you were someone like, if you were nobody, right? Nobody, no one ever seen your face in the internet ever, and you went on some kind of dating site, right? There's more of a collection of crazy people on dating sites, right, than anywhere else. The whole fucking lot of them are on there, but you'd actually have more of a chance having something meaningful with that person you picked out on a dating site than you would going picking out a YouTuber. You would have more fucking success. Because as the guys have put it, that they're being a bit shallow about it as to where it's that he traded up. In essence, he managed to get access to women out of his league. That'd be true, but that'd be a terrible indictment of Styx's actual sort of sexual market value, as to that he thought he'd hit the jackpot himself. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ, mate. It's like he has got it into him. It's like, maybe there's no one in the world for me. And it's like, yeah, because that notion that there's someone out in the world for everyone, it's something that women say to men when they dump them. That there's no actual basis of truth or evidence that there's someone in the world for everyone. It's like there's a reality of the history of mankind that something only about like a third of males mate. Most of us don't partake in that shit. Why? Because we find other things to do. Do you think sailors fared well as parents? None of them fared well, but some of them did, but many of them didn't. Same said for soldiers. Hell of a lot of people die without ever having children. And children it's a trade-off. It's like, I don't have a moment's regret or thought of what if about if I'd have had kids. It just doesn't enter my head. I've got no sentiment at all towards it. And it's like, might that be that I have some insight? And it's like, well, kinda. Know something that Styx doesn't know, because I don't go sniffing around the internet for, oh, she likes me. Oh, I'll jump on a plane and meet a fucking stranger. And no matter what red flags I see, because I've put so many eggs in this basket of meeting this, perfect woman, that I'll just completely ignore all red flags from now on. And it's like, right, you do that to yourself, lowering of fucking standards. And it's what happens when this woman, first one in this process of degradation, meets him at the airport and looks at him and goes, oh, you're a skinny hippie. I could have fucking found one of them here. I didn't have to import one from America. And then the reality of fucking sharing a life with that guy, right? There's something that's very, very important that men should know who spend a lot of time on the internet. And it's something I live by. And it's a piece of wisdom from my friend Lucy Brown, who's had issues in the past with YouTube influencers fucking proclaiming undying, everlasting love for her. People who were friends proclaim everlasting love for her, and they're not friends anymore. And it's sad for her because she likes some people who decide, I love you. She liked them. And the way she put it was, it's pathetic and it's sad. And it's like, what makes like millennial woes, right? Think that I'm going to drop everything and go and live in a little village up Scotland and sit next to him all day while he plays on his console. What kind of love would, compel me to spring into action and do that? To walk away from my whole life. Why would I do that? And it'd be, oh my God, kid, that's what we know as a valid objection. That's what we call in the sales trade. Yeah, okay, you make your case. What kind of crazy do you have to be to drop everything your entire life to jump on a plane to another country to meet some fucking mystery woman who's into tarot cards and fucking astrology and all that shit as well? And the more in them circles, the more they talk crazy of having visions and the like and fucking astral projection and all this fucking shit you can imagine, right? Things you can imagine. They think, oh, you're thinking the more she talks this kind of shit, the more compatible she is. And it's not, it's the more crazy she is. And it's like, part of you that's a man that's logical is going to have to process this bullshit at some stage. As to where it's like Styxy, depending on as to whether he snapped out of it, in his own estimation or where his power lies in his mind, he's got an infestation of demons if he's a real magical man. And not something he can fucking think his way out of. It's like, what a fucking idiot this fella's proven to be. Somewhat once upon a time when I first started making videos on YouTube, I got quite a vociferous following of generally working people from different parts of the UK. And, in many cases I've met them and spoke to them. And they were like postmen, mechanics. The odd guy who run his own firm, and just be an absolute forever left-right mixture of all kinds of people. But mostly just working class sort of people who'd be like, hey, yeah, you're right, mate. But and one of them come to me, and he in his picture on his Facebook, it never sold anything like what he was to look at, and it's like he was one of the shortest people I've ever seen. He was quite a first set lad as well, but like 4'10". But you'd have no idea that he was that small if you looked at him. Nice lad though, and he sent me this video of, I've started watching this guy, he's very good. It's like, you should listen to him. Styxhexenhammer. I'm like, nah, mate, he should listen to me. So this guy's sharp, this guy knows a thing or two. And he sold himself into a game at the start being somebody who had like insight. There's a long time before people spoke openly about the old political correctness shit. There used to be a long time when New Age types would imply it and call it something different. He's from that switchover of the New Agers losing their audience and actually flipping over to politics. He's of that. I'm of that. This is where politics is where I chased these fucking people. Where I saw them migrate to. Politics. First, they were trying to convince the people that they were magicians and that if we were all magicians, we could make something happen. And it's like, no, that's ridiculous. And then they eased away from that when Donald Trump showed them, in essence, what was possible. really. And then other people came to the fore and educated them further as to, I bet you anything, this guy's got a big problem with guys like Jordan Peterson. Bet he hates him. He definitely ate my mate Sam Vaknin. Why? Because Sam Vaknin had said that he was a narcissist fantasist, and his insight comes from not a vision of the real world, comes from an imagined world. And it's like, you can be real good and that, but he ain't that good. So Sam, being a more sophisticated version of him with his same traits, would be a real threat to him. A real threat. It's like, I'm operating on kind of a cold, semi-scientific model of understanding the world as an interaction of different people and their personality disorders. And I'm able to test for it and everything. And you are still engaging with people who would say that I've got a gift. When the psychologists will say, yeah, it's called magical thinking. You're so fucking dumb or know so little. Your simplified mind can make miracles happen in your mind that you then project off into the world that come across as these shallow assertions that people like. So that's fucking magical thinking. That's utopian thinking. It's like you can fall into that or be born into that, and it becomes something that's extremely sophisticated. Styx doesn't visibly move from his set, but he's got an ability to analyse things that are way, way, way beyond his ability to actually observe. He was once a reasonable sort of common sense analyst, but he wasn't as good as he should have been. Why? Well, as I tried to tell the guy at the time, he was missing half of what he needed to know. And what is very funny about it, he's actually missing the kind of Andrew Tate half. Completely devoid of it. He hasn't got it. He hasn't got that. You need to understand, to fight evil, one needs to understand it, not fuck it. Is the lesson that he failed. But you can learn about evil from fucking it too. It just means that you're never going to be the man you were to fight it. It's like, sorry, maybe you should have paid some fucking attention to people who were trying to improve your game. He needed the proper understanding that the psychology that underlies his own condition. He needed to understand it. As to where Sam would say that he's what we call a cerebral narcissist, but I don't accept that as being a thing. I think that's a production of splitting. I think that cerebral narcissists and somatic, cerebral being people who like to be praised for being intelligent, and then others who are just like the sex thing. I think that all narcissists are, depending on the situation, both or either, and they're not a completely separate breed. Well, he'd been splitting it for years, and he doesn't split it like that anymore. And it's because I objected to it for so long and was able to make a common sense alternate theory, which is that narcissists operate between two of the cluster Bs and one of the cluster As. In defeat, they've got avoidant personality disorder, and they exhibit all the signs of it. And then they recover and they become narcissistic again. They stop avoiding, they come up with a new story, they hit the world again, and people say, where have you been? Why have you been away for 6 months? Oh, I was doing a bit of bird, when really they were crying in the bedroom. I've been doing a bit of prison, tough boy me, or I've been abroad working, and it's like you've been crying in your bedroom. And then, depending on what the situation they find themselves in, if they find themselves in the company of a load of young and unenlightened, low education people, they'll play like they're really clever. And then if they're in the company of people that they think they can manipulate and possibly have a chance of some sex with, they operate in the other manner. They operate in the completely different way. And the character be often a combination of the two strategies, often both at the same time. But it'd be a matter of calling sets of tactics pathologies was an error. It's just the best way of doing it. It's just but the tactics. It's learned behavior. It's the tactics. They say the psychologists were giving people passes to say this is a pathology. It's a repeated behavior that's like kind of ingrained. It's like, nah, it's a choice fundamentally. I've got pathologies towards fucking hitting people with weapons and shit, and I don't do it. But, you know, I often think about it. There's always a choice. There's only those of us who've got certain tendencies that even have the notion or the framework to attempt to control them. It's not the worst thing in the world to think about, I fucking wring that bastard's neck. It's not the worst thing in the world to think that, but it's certainly not the thing to do, is it? So it's like those of us who've got an ability to, you know, hold ourselves in one piece very quickly would dispel that notion, wouldn't they, of going wringing the guy's neck. But there are those of us who are impulsive who can't drop it, who can't let it go, who can't put a lid on their emotions. There's ideating towards things and there's actually doing them. People get stabbed because people are impulsive. And afraid. That's why people get stabbed, because people are impulsive. That's why guns are a problem, because people are impulsive. Trade-off. It's like this, a whole side where he was unable to identify with himself. Right, Styx, this is the thing. If he could have been in some flash of fucking brilliance, I've realised that he had or has a pretty profound psychological problem, right? He could have learned about it and actually improved his strategies and tactics based on it. He could have known his weaknesses and changed his behaviour to better defend himself, understanding what his weaknesses were. But he didn't. And anyone who tried to reach out to him as to say, you need to study psychology, you just fucking would dismiss it as being something for other people and not me. It's like, well, all people with your kind of psychological problems, they think the same. No one can tell him anything. And that weakness is if he doesn't shed that, he might be dead in 30 days. If he doesn't shed that, you know what I mean? This being lost, making excuses, and then again and again having these commitments to try to earn some money somehow by going back to the well. It's a terrible cycle to have been found yourself in. This guy has torpedoed his own life with his cock, having portrayed himself one of being of wisdom and discernment. Well, he completely fails on both counts. Of the things he once professed to carry, he may have had them once, but as soon as dick got hold and the smell of pussy got in his nostrils, and there was something, it's a bit crude this, but something that Tom Collins said to me once when we used to do a little podcast is like, what is it with this vaginal discharge? The stuff's like fucking crack. Talking about foolish things that his own psychologically disturbed friends, the lengths they would go to for a shag, where one of them had jumped on a plane to fucking Trinidad for the chance of shagging this big fat black woman. And it'd be, oh no, it's like, my best mate, he's fallen in love again. Oh no, it's love this time. It's love this time. She runs a church in Trinidad. All right, he's gone over. What is it with this stuff? It's like we hear of these tales a lot, don't we? These women who've been scammed. It's like, well, here's a guy who's been scammed over and over again. And because he's so brilliant, I dare say his family have been banging on at him non-stop with a bit of sense. And he's, nope, I know better. Nope, I know better. It's like you find this guy who cracks on to have some sort of mysticism about him. It's like, what's that doing for him now? What good is that doing him? Is, you know, as Mr. Warski put it, it's like, why aren't you, if you're so magical, why aren't you pulling money out of a fucking hat? Why aren't you making edicts and casting spells? Why aren't you, if magic is so great, why can't magic get you out of the hole you've dug yourself in? It's like, no, magic is how he dug the hole. The answer is always for Styx to abandon the whole notion of magic and turn it into proper experience of what humans are, understanding that he would have incredible insight into the way that others think when they're your kind. People who are in a similar way enchanted by the notion of the unknown. It's like this guy, to convert his mysticism into fucking or magic into concrete theory would have been to make this guy extremely effective. So he could just leave it behind and apply it. As to, hey, I know a thing or two about how these cults behave, because that's part of what he is. A part of what his analysis is when he looks at the actions of psychos, he's dealing with his own kind. So the old saying of it takes a thief to catch a thief. He's a thief. He knows his own kind. What's his own kind? Grifter. Bullshitter. As soon as he started mouthing off that he performed that blood magic ritual with a used tampon, it's like, oh, fuck me. Because that's like bubble, toil and trouble, fire burner, cauldron bubble. It's that. That's what that is. It's a filthy concoction. And to actually do that, which actually shows a kind of sick level of understanding of what his goals were, as to where he was trying to evoke disgusting, superstitious thoughts in people who've got disgusting, superstitious natures. So that could be seen as almost fighting warfare between him with his magical bullshit and his ex-girlfriends with their magical bullshit. And the way that magical bullshit really manifests itself is you've got people who are so involved and so in conflict that there's no rules, basically. They'll say whatever they need to say to win. They're at that stage of total war. So anything that any of them say has to be seen as a coded message to the other. So it's like he's not actually addressing his audience here. He's addressing his real world enemies. And this could be said to be a magic show from a self-professed magician. And what's he trying to sell? He's trying to sell, I'm dying. I've got 30 days to live. And to look at this guy, there's absolutely no evidence as to say that this guy's in this state other than he can't fucking talk anymore because he appears to either be under the effects of certain medical conditions of being run down, very badly run down, and have gone onto an alcohol diet, or he's just flat out drunk. Neither way, because he'd have you believe that he's got some ailment that's making him behave this way. Or he's fucked on some concoction of drugs which has made him so he's slurring and can't talk properly anymore. To take his word for it as to say that he's not drunk is to actually put yourself in the imagination in a far worse place, and that'd be someone who's a bit lovesick and a bit dope sick and a bit alcohol withdrawn. And that concoction of whatever's going on in his fucking brain at the minute be something that not even Charlie Sheen could fucking handle. Because Charlie Sheen always knew where he could find another bird, some more drugs, and some more money.